Kia ora, good evening everybody. Nice to see so many people already on the stream. Good evening to Romana Locke who said kia ora, Simon McGinn who's just joined us, Marewa Upu, I hope I said that right, and Stephanie Daniel, Lynn Nolan, good evening back to you, Giselle, Lala from Australia, good to see you. I hope you're doing okay today. Lovely to see your posts and wishing you lots of love. Zaya Sajid, good to see you. Mimosa Oliva. There's so many people. Karen Valentine, Tracy Henderson, Jane Wan, kia ora, welcome. Tonight I'm so excited because I love heading into Easter. I love treat food and I love the fact that now I can control the food that I eat and still have all the treats that I want, but the treats I make serve my health. So I do things like reduce the amount of carbohydrates in my food and look at healthy alternatives for some of my favorite treats. And one of my all-time favorite treats is actually marshmallow. So I thought I'd show you guys how I've been able to recreate marshmallow in a low-carb form that has basically allows me to still have my treat and eat it too. Because I'm a firm believer that if you can still treat yourself, if you're trying to lose weight, which is what I'd been doing for the last 25 years, if you treat yourself, then chances are you're not going to sabotage your diet goals by eating low-carb or low-sugar versions of your favorite dishes. So that's my philosophy anyway. And I thought tonight I'd show you how to make, seriously, it's so easy. Marshmallow could not be easier. And the great thing about this is there's practically no carbs in it. And in fact, if you buy a commercially made marshmallow, I believe there's 85 grams of sugar per 100 grams of marshmallow. So it's a lot of sugar in there. This has practically got nothing because I'm actually going to be sweetening my marshmallow with stevia. So there is 0.4 grams of carbs per teaspoon, so it's practically nothing. It won't mess with your glycemic index either if you are diabetic or insulin sensitive, things like that. So that's what I use to sweeten my marshmallows. Chances are, if you've got your own preferred sweetener, try this recipe. I'll give you an idea of the measurements and see what works for you. So this can be used with normal sugar as well, but I personally choose not to use it because, you know, I want to meet my goals, right? Okay, so the important things you need, seriously, there's 4 ingredients in it. There's 6 ingredients in this, but it's really simple. First of all, in my pot here, I've got 375 mils of water. Now it's cold water. That's basically 1 cup. I'm starting to heat up my element there. Now this is going to be part of the base of the marshmallow. Into there, I'm going to add, and it depends when you try making this, work out what works for you. In the recipe, which is already on my website, moniquebradley.tv, I've put there 5 tablespoons of stevia. I think tonight though, how many was that? I think that was 5? I'll put, 5 to 6 teaspoons of stevia, according to your particular taste buds. And we're actually just going to pop that onto the stove top and let that dissolve into the water. Now, I don't want it to boil. I just simply want to wait until that stevia in there has dissolved. So every sort of minute or so, I'll come back and give that a little stir. So that's on a very low heat here on my stove top, just sort of 1 or 2. So we want to keep an eye on that. Now, on the flip side, I've already boiled my kettle and I need some boiling water for the other side of this. Now, this is great because there's no starches in here. So a lot of store-bought confectionery or store-bought marshmallows, as an example, has corn flour and cornstarch in it. So that's not great for me and my body or my health. So this has got nothing like that. It's really simple. So I'm going to put in here 125 mils or half a cup of boiling water. Now, when I was working with this recipe over the last few weeks and sort of learning how it all works, when you work with gelatin, it kind of has a bit of a mind and a personality of its own. So you have to be really careful and you have to move fast. So the first time I tried the recipe, I had my boiling water and I put in what I'm going to do now, my 5 tablespoons of gelatin into this water. And I noticed that it kind of started sticking together really fast, and you're supposed to whisk it, but I wasn't quite as fast moving as the gelatin was. That's number 4. Now it has a bit of an unusual smell. I will warn you right now. So if you're smell sensitive, just Watch out, she's a little pungent there. Hi Abby Leaf, good to see you. Missed you too, nice to see you back on the stream. Hi Raja, good to see you tonight. Now I'm actually going to blend this together, so it is a bit of a cheats way of doing this, and that's already starting to work together, but I just found it was so much easier to mix. I wouldn't normally do this, and probably, you know, anybody, like I know Andy Glover's watching tonight who is a real chef, he'd probably tell me off for doing this, but you know, the way I see it is, woo! I like to make things easy in the kitchen for myself as possible. Okay, so we want that to cool down a little, so that's all completely mixed. I'll go over to my stove top here, clean the bench, and I just want to check on my, might help if I put the right element on. Excellent, good work. So we're just going to melt this, or sorry, dissolve this all down. That should happen quite quickly. And when we come to mix these two together, because they need to be a little bit cool first, when it comes to mixing them together, I'm going to show you the end product and give you some ideas on what you can actually do with it as well. Angela Beer, gelatin is disgusting animal byproducts. Yeah, I know, it's not for everyone. I know some people don't care. I thought I'd give it a whirl, and I know some people will not like it at all, and that's okay too. That's okay. Jane Wan, hi to you. Tony Narang, good to see you on the stream tonight as well. And greetings from Raja. So we want to dissolve this down, which is fantastic. And then we're going to mix it all together. And the cool thing is it's like a science experiment, because when you mix the two parts together, it foams up, and it's truly amazing. Yeah, it foams together. See, that's happened quite quickly. Almost done there. And it increases in volume, so it's really quite an awesome experience to have. So with your kids, if you've got kids, this is a really cool school holidays activity to do. Right, there we go, almost done. Perfect. Now, once you've actually done this, the great thing is you can put it into molds. You can even use it maybe if you've made like a low-carb shortcake with a beautiful low-carb, like a fruit filling. Oh, gorgeous, like my chia seed jam in there. So I'm going to mix that in there. Pop that on the stove top, and then mix this in as well. Can you see that's already starting to kind of mix together and look all creamy? Now basically, when this mixes together properly, and you do need a bench, well, I recommend you use a benchtop mixer for this, it's going to increase, and it's going to aerate, and it's going to grow in volume. And while you're doing that, once it's grown to its full size, you can separate the product out, and you can actually add different colors to each portion of the product. I like pink, so I've made pink marshmallow. I'm just going to pop this in the freezer very quickly just to cool that down for a minute, and then I'll grab for you guys. Oh, you get an inside look into our freezer. I'm going to grab for you guys. Is it even going to fit? No, it's not. I'm going to let that cool naturally on the bench top. Note to self, prep that before we go to air. Right, so I've got some pre-done marshmallow that I made right here. So this is freshly made yesterday, so it stores for a long time, and it's a very delicate marshmallow, which is what I like about it. So I'll just leave that to cool for a minute, and this is so cool. So I've put some into molds. Silicone molds are the best for this. And you notice I've just been adding a little bit of that there. Excellent. And then this was the bigger portion that I actually put into just a normal bread tin actually. Oh, thank you, Raja, for your nice comments. What am I making tonight? I'm making marshmallow. I mean, look at it. It's super light and fluffy. I'm going to turn that over. Look at that. Isn't that so cute? So the magic happens through the churning of the product together. So when you cut it, it cuts like an absolute dream. Look at that. So cute. And like I said, I really love pink, which is why I turned it over, you'll notice, because I wanted the beautiful flat side on the top. If I was at home, I wouldn't bother, but because you guys are here with me. Right, so we've got some yummy slices like that. Put that there. And then of course you've got so many options. You can chop this up and make rocky road. That's what I'm doing in the next class, which is coming up at 7:30. That's in my private Facebook group where we have a whole bunch of different recipes in there. You can dip this in low carb chocolate, so I would melt down some of the Healtheries no added sugar chocolate drops with some coconut oil, and then I would dip my marshmallow in that. So how are we looking? A little bit cooler, so that's good. I'm going to put this in the blender, and I just really wanted to show you guys the process of this. Good one. The process of this all happening, because it really is quite fascinating. So there is going to be a bit of noise, but I'm mixing up between showing you guys this and showing you guys what you can do with the marshmallow as well. So here, think about it, the kids love hearts and stars and things like that, so you can actually use your cookie cutters, you know, perfect for Valentine's Day. Look at that. I mean, seriously perfect. So if you've got a special occasion, for example, and it does cut like an absolute dream. I just love that. That's even something you could make, and because you make quite a lot of volume with this marshmallow, have to turn it up really high now. You make so much marshmallow, it's really good for a gift. So if I was going to give that away, see we've got all this excess bits which I will use to make Rocky Road in the next class. Do something like that. If you love the chocolate idea, I would also dip it in chocolate and coconut, because I love marshmallow, chocolate and coconut together. Is that going to fit there? I mean that, hi Matty, good to see you. That is delicious. Which product am I going to use for colouring? A great question. So because we've already got sugar in there, I'm going to use rose pink food colouring, because I think it's pretty. It's kind of spraying everywhere here at the moment. And I'm also going to add in some vanilla essence. So you can add in any flavour you like. In fact, I'll put some, oh, it's kind of going a little crazy. I'll just show you guys as well. It's almost doubled in volume already. So I'm going to add in a little bit of vanilla essence to mix through now. Just a little sprinkle. A little bit more, because I love vanilla. I don't know about you guys, but look, you could make lemony ones, you could make mint flavored ones. You can think about which essence you have in your own kitchen. Hope you guys can see okay. I'm actually going to put my food colouring in now. So like I said, if you wanted to wait until it's finished growing to its biggest volume, you can then separate the product into different containers and mix in colouring, but I'm just going to do it all pink all now, like that. It's going to be really nice. And you'll notice I'm not being too perfect about those measurements there. The only thing you really need to keep mindful of are those first two ingredients when you're working with the gelatin and when you're working with the water and the sugar, or your nat beer there. So that's starting to mix through. I love this. And basically you want to keep it going until you get to that point where it's got really thick and really big and delicious looking. So if I was going to make this for a gift, I'd grab a lovely clean container and pop all these in here. And can you imagine what this would be like if you had lots of different colours as well? I think they'd be really pretty. So good. Do they require refrigeration? Always to be served cool? A great question. I do keep them in the refrigerator. These are a little more delicate than store-bought marshmallows, so a very good question there. They are a bit more sensitive to the heat and the cool. I mean, look at that. That's so cute. So yeah, I would probably store them in the refrigerator. The one thing you kind of can't do with these is it's a little bit hard when you're using them with anything with heat, because they're a lot more delicate, because you don't have the 85 grams of sugar in there that the store-bought ones have. So you really want to be able to, it's the sugar that will make them collapse or make them stay together. So I'll put those bits out of the way here. So you just want to be really careful with all of it there, because they are very, very delicate. But I think that looks really cool. Okay, So that's a neat little gift if you wanted to give that to somebody. Actually, in hindsight, I'll show you what it looks like when you get the bars straight out of the container there. Now I'll just show you what's happening now. Over here, it's more than double its size, so we want it to get really light and really fluffy. So we're nearly there, we're about 2/3 of the way there. So it does take probably about up to 10 minutes when you've got it in this container here. And then once you've mixed it through and you've aerated it, you're going to end up basically putting it into your favourite moulds. So if you want to make Easter eggs as an example and you want to use marshmallow fillings, you could get a marshmallow egg mould and you could put your fillings in there. And when it comes to working with them, once you've got it to this stage and it's really volumized, you need to move really quickly because it starts to set really quickly as well. So I decided to put it into these molds because I wanted to be able to turn these into chocolate covered bars. So they look pretty cool, I think. And I just, I would cover these in chocolate and then maybe some chopped nuts as well. Can you imagine that? And it's all low carb. I can't get over this. It's pretty insane. And I just think it's such a nice thing to make and to share, particularly good for kids. Jane Wan, or just buy the sugar-free marshmallows. I've never seen sugar-free marshmallows, and chances are, Jane, if you are buying them in the market, they will be sweetened with aspartame and phenylalanine, which is basically what they use to embalm people. I won't go near anything that has those sorts of chemicals in it, and I would rather control what I eat because then I know exactly what's going into my food when I make it myself. So there you go. Okay, looking real good. So there's your marshmallow bars. Again, roll them in chocolate, roll them in coconut or chopped nuts, and that's a delicious wee snack you can have on hand. And if you are tempted at Easter time to go ahead and eat those marshmallow chocolate eggs, this is the perfect alternative. Okay, Claire Natalie, hello. Oops, I'm late. Looks awesome. You're awesome, Claire. Good to see you on the stream. Even the what's that? Even the tray is so jello. Ha ha ha. Thanks for that. So there you go. That's a super easy recipe. I'm going to show you. We're nearly there with this. This has got so big. It's fantastic. We are almost there. We don't want it to get stiff peaks like we would with cream, but we want it to be really thick and fluffy. Okay, so I'll pop that there. So at least you got some ideas of what you can do with it. Like I said, when you're mixing this, once it goes from here into your tray, you need to move fast. And I always recommend that unless you're using a silicone mold, you want to line your tray or your container with some sort of cling film, just because it makes getting your marshmallow out of your container in one piece a little easier. So I know that I've done things sort of in a roundabout sort of way tonight, but it's only because I knew this part's going to take a long time to do. So there we go. So you want to line your tray, and as you can see, this is a giant container, but this is how much marshmallow you actually make from this one recipe. So it really does volumize really, really well. Tracy Henderson, where did you get the molds from? Thank you so much for asking. This silicone mould is actually like a mini bread container. Pete got this for me at the warehouse actually, and I believe it was $6. So yeah, really, really good. I've used it for making bread and making Rocky Road and making marshmallow now as well. So yeah, very, very handy. Highly recommend it. Okay, Raja, interesting comment there. You said aspartame nut. That's like buying cancer. Well, we can't say that, of course, but I personally would keep away from any sort of products that say diet or have any form of artificial sweetener. Stevia is made from plants, so that's why I would rather, if I'm going to eat anything, I would rather make sure it's from plant or from a natural source. There are other alternatives on the market, like xylitol is one that's used, which is also derived from natural sources. Some people are using monk fruit, which is also a really good alternative. for sweetening. So just find out what works for you. For me, anything with aspartame actually bloated me. After a long period of time, I would get aching joints from having anything with aspartame in it. And I actually became very sick. It became very toxic in my body. And that's basically because it's a chemical and the body's not designed to understand what that chemical is. So it's really a better option for your health to choose something that's natural. This is looking amazing. I think we're almost done. Look at that. One more quick go, because we want it really super fluffy. So would I recommend you do this with an egg beater? If you've got really strong arm muscles or you want a really good bicep workout, go ahead. But it'll probably take you about 30 minutes. I think we are done. So it's up to about here in the container now. And we are done. So we want it to be a little bit sticky, we want it to be fluffy, we want it to be well mixed as well, so fantastic. I'm going to take that off. Now Jane, you've just said a comment there. How do you spell that chemical, please? Aspartame, A-S-P-A-R-T-A-M-E. If you've ever had a look on the back of diet drinks or diet products or anything that says diet, even chewing gums that have no sugar added, I won't mention brand names, but chances are they're sweetened with aspartame. So yeah, not ideal for me. Like I said, it's I know there's a lot of people who think it's fine to use, but for me, it hasn't worked. So there you go. Right, there's your marshmallow. Look at that. Oh my goodness. This makes me so happy. I just think it's a beautiful colour, and like I said, if you want to mix it up bit by bit, so if you want to start with the white, just plain white marshmallow, you can then put it into 4 different containers. You can make pink, you can make green, you can make yellow, and just really mix it up and just really enjoy it. I just think it's just such a cool thing to make. Now that is now going to set. I'm going to put that in the fridge to set because it's just faster and easier. And while the product is okay at room temperature, remember it is delicate, so you want to keep it in an optimal condition. So for me, the fridge is the place to be. So I had to do that really quickly because it will set quite quickly, even at room temperature. What you can do too is you can also consider, if you want to make egg-sized spoonfuls, grab a big spoon like this, take a big spoonful, make sure you've got a baking tray covered in baking paper. You could take big spoonfuls, place it down like that on top of your, or even like a bigger spoon than that, like a soup spoon. Take big amounts and plop it down onto your grease-proof paper, and then it kind of gives you that egg shape if you don't want to buy an egg silicone mold. So that, my friends, is how you make delicious wobbly marshmallow. Super easy. Abby, looks so good. Must get you over in the holidays so we can make this with my kids. I know, right? Look, they'll love it. The great thing is, like I said, if you are doing this with the kids, because it's sweetened with stevia, they're not going to get that. You know how kids go crazy when they have a whole load of sugar? They're not going to get that with this. And that's a real bonus. If your kids are sensitive to food colouring as well, keep the food colouring out of it. White marshmallow is just as lovely. And you can even do something like have toasted long grain coconut in the bottom before you pour your marshmallow in there, so that when you chop it up, you've got a side all with coconut on there. Delicious! So good. Okay, so how does my marshmallow taste today? Let me see. Oh, come on. That is so good. Oh, it's like eating air. Light, fluffy. It's that easy to make. Nothing stopping you guys now. The recipe is already loaded into my website, moniquebradley.tv. So head there. There's a whole bunch of other recipes on the website as well. Tonight in my next stream, I'll be turning some of this into some Rocky Road for my private Facebook group. I'll be dipping this all in chocolate, making heavenly things, as well as cooking paprika chicken for dinner. So it's all going on in the group. Thanks guys for joining us. I'm glad you like it, everybody. Good to hear, Raja, that you prefer whisking. That's cool, doing a manual workout. Whatever works for you. Very good workout for the biceps. Glad you guys like the look of this. And if you have any questions at all, remember you can get in touch with me either via my website, via my Facebook pages, or you can email me info@moniquebradley.tv. Right, time to go. Have a great evening, everybody. Make marshmallow. See ya.